Welcome everyone to Plasticity number 10. And I'm really excited to be here today with all of you, and the timing is just perfect. We started this journey 8 years ago at the Rio Earth Summit. We thought it was important to have a discussion about plastic at the same level as climate change and deforestation and all of the other big issues, but we did it in a very creative way that people really appreciated, and that was to talk not about the problems and not about the ocean, that was assumed knowledge, but about all the solutions and all of the things that are actually already happening, but they're not scaled and they're not in your country yet. And this is the things that we all need to be collaborating on. And today we're here, the world has finally woken from the slumber of wondering what is plastic pollution and where does it come from. And now they ask the questions of, well, what's next? And how do we find out how much we have? And how do we find out how to solve it? And this kind of event is almost like, we jokingly call it the Olympics of plastic. It is like a one-day MBA course in plastic sustainability and circularity. And if you know a lot today, I guarantee you're going to know a lot more. And if you don't know a lot in this space, you're going to feel like you've just been energized with so much that hopefully your brain won't explode, but you're going to love it. So the world, Malaysia, we decided that Malaysia is a very good place to do this event because it has a capacity for manufacturing, services, plastic industry. The MPMA was very supportive. And when we decided to bring this here a number of months back, the government hadn't changed yet. Malaysia didn't have a plastic policy yet. And all of that has just shifted literally in the last week. So the timing is perfect for this discussion. But the main point was that Malaysia can be and should be a center point for solutions and technologies and opportunities to help the rest of the region, if not the rest of the world. There's certain bigger countries in the region that aren't able to be so nimble and be able to get in to these markets. And when you think about plastic and pollution and waste management, it is a distributed issue and a localized issue. And all of the solutions need to be localized and sized for the community that you are planning to serve and the materials and feedstock you're planning to remediate. And you cannot just take a big machine and put it in one place and say, wow, now we solved that country's problem. We need 1,000 of those machines to be scaled. And it's a lot of the people in this room that are the ones who have those kind of solutions and can put these things together. But in no possible way can one person do it by themselves or one industry or one technology. This is a very difficult challenge for all of us. It is, I would argue, more challenging than climate change, simply because of the vast variety of materials that plastic represent and the social implications needed to drive the systems to get the materials to the people who know how to use them. So when you have 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 = 8, that is the solution set that we need to have happen. And it's from you and from you and from you put together to then make the whole thing work. And that is what this event is about, bringing people together to get those kind of synergies with a big company, a small company, and a community that has the feedstock and that is willing to do this. And we believe Malaysia has the capacity to really take the leadership if they want to in this space. And we hope that this event, Plasticity, can lead them and bring huge opportunities. Many countries in the world are looking at themselves insularly. They are not going to be the ones coming to the rescue on this issue. And this is a great opportunity because there's so many things that need to be done. So innovation, job creation, new technologies, new materials, new interaction with your customers and your clients are really what's going to take your brands and your companies to the next level. I just want to show one slide here, which we created. We're in the process of finishing a UN report, if this slide will come up somewhere. Okay, so maybe we can get it up later in the day. Basically, we have just done a report that we're finishing. We looked at all of the commitments around the world on plastic from the private sector, governments, and NGOs, to look at the plastic commitments they made, over 600 of them, and grade them and score them and really see, are these going to make a difference? Are these going to move the dial? And the point is not to call out anyone for not doing a thorough job, but the point is a wake-up call for all of us that they're maybe not that strong in the way that they're designed. And we have a toolkit that will come out to help show municipalities and government leaders and businesses that if they're going to make commitments in the plastic space, that this is some ways that they are going to be able to do a much better job and scale that and make it powerful. What I was going to show you was a slide just as a reminder of the challenge of this space, which a lot of people don't think about. It's the fact that rigid plastic, when it is between the hands of the consumer and the attempt to get into the system of some recycling, when it's uncompressed, is basically air wrapped in plastic. And when you put that air, uncompressed, wrapped in plastic, in a bin, you can only fit so many of those pieces in that bin, and it's not very efficient. So when you think of a city having recycling bins around, uncompressed plastic bottles or soap bottles might fit 90 pieces of plastic in that bin, but if you compress it, you can fit 360 or 400 in the same bin. If you put them in a truck, because you don't have compression in your town or village to get it to the next place, you can put about 40,000 in a big truck, and that's 1 ton of material filled with air. If you compress it, you can fit 350,000 into 1 ton, into 1 truck, and that's 7 or 8 tons of material. And your value of material is much, much greater. And the challenge we have is that most of the world doesn't have compressors or grinders or shredders or pretty simple technology, which needs to be propagated to the world so that they can get into the value chain of moving this material, which is already complicated to deal with, at least into a scenario where they can sell it into the next system of the chain of command of recycling. And these are the kind of machines that I think Malaysia can be very good with helping to support on. Not high technology, but it has to be replicated and put in all parts of the world. And that's just one piece. But the reminder there is that we often, the municipal governments and the companies who are thinking about their own waste, often don't think about the size. You hear about volume and weight of plastic, but you often don't think about the size of the space that it takes to store it between the consumer and how it gets into the system through trucks and through bins. And maybe this is hard to read, so I can show it to you later if you want. But with that, I think let's get on with the day. It's a huge day. Please be patient. This is the Olympics of Plastic Innovation. Enjoy it, and we'll get through it, and you're going to meet a lot of good people, and thank you very much.